to welcome everyone to the session on the All Atlantic Blue Schools Network of the Ocean Best Practices Workshop. I'm Silvia Martin. I'm Responsible Research Manager at the Oceanic Platform of the Canary Islands, and I'll be moderating today's session. It's a pleasure to have you all here as we dive into the inspiring work of the All Atlantic Blue Schools Network, an initiative under the All Atlantic Ocean Research Innovation Alliance called AAORIA. This alliance is a cooperative ocean science effort that connects countries, organizations, and experts to enhance collaboration in research and innovation across all the Atlantic Ocean. It's supported by OKEANO CSA project, and AAORIA emphasizes the importance of education in cultivating the next generation of ocean leaders. Today's workshop will explore how this All-Atlantic Blue School Network empowers schools through the Atlantic region to embrace sustainability and foster ocean literacy. We will discuss best practices, hear success stories, and explore future engagement opportunities to strengthen this collaborative network. Regarding the workshop structure, and in order to manage your expectations, I would like to share with you that the session will begin with an introduction to the Blue Schools Network and its overarching goals, followed by presentations from key stakeholders who will share their experiences and expertise and insights in the different Atlantic countries. I would also like to remind you that you can post your questions on the chat during the workshop or the webinar. Now, I would like to give the floor to Ana Noronha, who's the Executive Director at Ciência Viva in Portugal. And Ana will give a brief overview of the inclusion of ocean literacy in the Galway Statement, then Belém Statement, as well on the ocean literacy working groups that were created, and the onset of the idea of Blue Schools and its role in Mission Ocean. So please, Ana, the floor is yours.
Hello. I am very pleased to be here, so thank you for this invitation. Thank you, AAORIA and the Dear Center for the invitation. As I am probably the older person, I'm certainly the older person here. I'll give a little bit of history on how all this started, and also from my own perspective, how I got involved into this. Well, I'm going to share my screen just a bit. Or not? Okay, even long time the pandemic, so you already forgot how everything is done. So here it is. So I just start to talk a little bit about ourselves and how we, Ciência Viva, came involved into this. We believe in children as active players in their education, which is at the core of all the different Escola Azul projects. We believe in the capacity of teachers and the importance to build capacity and empower them. This is also another main ingredient for the Blue Schools. And we engage with scientists and believe in the importance of connecting scientists and research institutions with the public at large. So we were working on an ocean project with scientists from the United States, and we came across the beautiful ocean literacy framework that the North American institutions had just put up from 2003 to 2010, those discussions. And we said, this is really what we need. This is a very good idea. And we adapted it adapted it for the Portuguese case. And in fact, we were the first European country adapting this framework, and that's how we come into play into what is now called ocean literacy, although a lot of waters and ocean have passed under the bridges, and ocean literacy has evolved and is now a much, much wider concept. But I am telling you, I told you I was going to tell you a story. This is how the story began. Then in 2013, the European Union signs the Galway Statement of cooperation with Canada and the United States. And so who was there? We were invited to take care of the ocean literacy part. So what we produced was, in fact, a roadmap, which was what most of these groups produced, but we created a working group, and I'm very happy to know that AAORIA is still building on the working group that started in this CSA. In parallel to the CSA, there were two large projects on European Union, Sea Change and Responsible, that wanted to make sort of the framework for blue education and where the idea of blue schools came about. So this was 2013, 2015. Now, continuing with the story, in 2017, the Portuguese stakeholders who had participated in this project said, this is a good idea. Why can't we do a blue school? Let's do it. And so the Ministry of the Sea at the time, now you see here economy because the sea is under economy, but this started with the Ministry of the Sea, said, let's do it. So they implemented it with the help of all these stakeholders that had been involved in the discussions on what should be a blue school. And this was the beginning of Escola Azul back in 2017, in that year. Right now, they have 409 blue schools across Portugal, both inland and on coast. Now, but 2017 was a very, very rich, very eventful year for the ocean. So this is what happened, in Escola Azul. So there was a network of schools that were dealing with the ocean and doing ocean projects, not just from science, but also including the arts, including humanities. And this is the 400 and something that we have now. But as I was saying, 2017 was a very eventful year where, of course, there was the first ever ocean conference at the United Nations, where there was a call for action approved that stated clearly that ocean literacy it had the words. It simply had the words, ocean literacy, that ocean literacy should be taken on board. So there was a group that mobilized and that had submitted a compromise of, in fact, doing it. It was called Ocean Literacy for All. It involved a large number of different stakeholders, including these European projects that I told you about. And you see the logos below. And this later gave rise to the Ocean Literacy for All toolkit from UNESCO, and in fact, later evolved with consultations of stakeholders with the Ocean Literacy with All that we now have. That is the Ocean Literacy Program of the UN Ocean Decade. But I am sure that Ronaldo is a more knowledgeable person to talk about this because he's inside the thing. I am telling how it all came about. Now, 2017, again, all this is happening in 2017. The European Union signs the Belém Statement of cooperation and it changes with South Atlantic countries. The first ones were Brazil and South Africa. And there was a CSA building an all-Atlantic, the ANCOR, building an all-Atlantic ocean community. And the ANCOR, again, created a working group, but we decided that, no, this time is not just roadmaps, let's do something. And the idea was to do a joint action involving all these countries that in the meantime were signing agreements of cooperation regarding the ocean. And so you see the whole Atlantic basin suddenly with countries wanting to have their own network of blue schools. And I'm very happy that now the representatives are here today. So all the Atlantic basin had these blue schools. Now I am just finishing just to tell you that in parallel, while this was happening at international level and in the Atlantic, the European Commission published in 2020 the so-called, what was called the mission Starfish. Its name is due to the beautiful diagram inside with the starfish, but everybody calls it the mission Starfish, which gave rise to the mission Ocean and Waters. And this recommended the creation of a pan-European coalition, a pan-European group network for ocean literacy. And this is how the EU for Ocean Coalition came into being. Now, this DG Mare joined efforts and published a tender to create a network of blue schools in Europe in 2019. And we were part of it along with the European Marine Science Education Association, which is an association of educators that was created in Europe, inspired by the experiences that already existed in North America and in South Africa. In South America, sorry. So we created a network of blue schools that now has about 400 schools distributed across the ocean and seas, European ones, some involving associated countries like Turkey, who are very keen on working on the ocean. And but the structure is inspired by the original blue school idea of schools having partnerships, having the children and the teachers taking in their hands the projects and the blue education. Again, in Mission Ocean, there were 3 sister projects that were created and that will open calls to fund schools, to fund blue schools. So this network of European blue schools that have been created now will be able to apply to the calls that are being put up by these projects. And so this is the story. Now, with AAORIA, there is a lot of countries. I am very happy to see here so many representatives of the blue schools. And my final message is just, you need to have blue schools, but you need to support them. And to support them, it's important to support local stakeholders that take care of these blue schools and to support these little projects and to give them opportunities for exchange of best practices. And that's all. So this is my brief little story. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Anna, for all the storytelling among how it began, kept on evolving, and also for sharing very interested key points, at least under my point of view, regarding the opportunities for the schools in the next coming calls from the Blue Light Project, the Show One, Pro Blue, and so on. Thank you very much, very interesting. Now I would like to give the floor to Ronaldo Cristofoletti. He's professor at the Federal University of Sao Paulo and coordinator of the All Atlantic Blue Schools Network. He will give a brief overview on how all the Atlantic Blue School Network started, its success, and where is it going. So please, Ronaldo.
Thank you. Hello, everyone. Really nice to be here. Really glad to see you all and share a little bit of this history of the All Atlantic Blue Schools Network after Anna just brought us this amazing class, this view from all this movement from the ocean literacy that starts 20 years ago, and it goes worldwide in regions. And as Anna was saying, and also, Sylvia said at the beginning, there is this movement for the All Atlantic that united all the countries. And within the last phase of this movement on the Atlantic, we had this opportunity to have at that moment funding to create this All Atlantic Blue Schools Network. The concept, as Anna presented, it was created in Portugal in 2017. So since 2019, we started to discuss how to scale it up for other countries. And we have then this idea of within the movement in the Atlantic to link countries in the Atlantic. In numbers updated by now, we just reached now 18 countries in the Atlantic, from north to south, from pole to pole, from east to east coast. We are more than 1,000 schools, more than 5,000 teachers, more than 300,000 students, and more than 200 stakeholders that are linked in this process in the Atlantic. So we had gone through the years of 2029, 2020 to discussing how to bring together countries. When it started, it was around 6 countries, and then very soon it was going up and up. And if one value that for us is really, really, really important, that is how could we promote a network within the Atlantic, but that can be just, equitable, diverse, and inclusive. We need to recognize in a network like this, as we are seeing the map, that we are united for a same goal, that is promoting this ocean literacy discussion, this blue school discussion, but in the same way that the Atlantic united us, we are very diverse. We don't have the same reality in languages, in country size, in economic characteristics, in social values, and very different patterns. So how to promote a network that would bring everyone to the same topic, but respecting the local realities, respecting our cultural, social, economic patterns and characteristics. So we have the launch of the Our Atlantic Blue Schools Network within this Our Atlantic movement in May 2021. That was the pandemic time, so we had all these, most of our actions were online since the beginning, including the launch. And already trying to bring the views in each of the countries that would be developed. So what is a blue school? A blue school has few topics that it has to consider, but basically is a school that looks the local reality, understanding their community they are in, and thinking, well, where is the ocean here? And how can we build a connection with the ocean within our discussions? It is not about what classes for related to ocean topics are given in the school. It's about a project that involves the community, that involves teachers, students, families, all the local community, and goes throughout 1-2 years, and then go linking topics, different disciplines, different actions. And there is not a single rule. It's just here, as we say about the diversity, each school in each country has a different reality. Even within a country, schools have different realities. So we want to respect that, and you want that the schools just find their way and promote their discussions as they think it is in a better moment, in a better view. You will be seeing later on. I'm sharing with you here how we create a network, and then you listen later from different experiences from the different countries. It is never about competition. It's always about diversity. It's always about the understanding that all kinds of actions, they matter. So when we think about this history of creating this in the blue, in the Atlantic, there are two marks I want to share here with you. One from your left side, you can see here, there is a book that was launched last year that brings a little bit of this history, how creating each country was telling us how they created their blue schools network in their reality, different pathways. That is not one single pathway. And I'm saying that because if you are listening us and you are a school within a country that is already part of the network, just contact us. Let's talk with your national coordinator. Each country has a national coordinator, and let's be part. If you are from a country that has no blue schools, contact us and we will discuss to create a national coordination and start the process. And then also we can see for the right side, we have this Bridging the Ocean. There is a booklet that was created by the Our Atlantic ECOPs, that are the youth professionals, and they were trying to bring their knowledge about ocean topics in booklets that the schools can use, and that was translated in English, Portuguese, Spanish, French, and from where I remember in our last talk for the booklet, it was even going to be translated in other local languages for South Africa. So that is increasing a lot. The Our Atlantic Blue Schools Network book as well is in English, French, Spanish, and Portuguese. So in the network, we have been discussing doing many things online. So bringing the voice of the students as much as we can. So for example, in 2022, we reached another level in the governmental agreements. There is the Our Atlantic Declaration. And for that launch, for that moment, that was in Washington, D.C. in the US, we had in these declarations, 6 priorities that we can see here. There is aquaculture and fisheries, sustainable inclusive economy, and so on. And we just received messages for students from all those countries from the Atlantic in their different languages, and we have these videos in the YouTube, and those messages were there in Washington for the high levels that were signing that document. Is a way where we link the actions that happen there in the schools with the governments from the countries. And then in this moment, when we are now, so the Our Atlantic Blue Schools, we had a moment where with the past Anchor project, it was ended. Now we have the OKEANO project. The Our Atlantic Blue Schools is still part of the alliance, is not part of the OKEANO project at this moment, but we are trying to work in how to find new funding to keep the network running. And while we were saying about countries and Atlantic movement, and then also mentioned the European network, we have since April now the Global Blue School Network. The Global Blue Schools Network is being led by UNESCO within the Ocean Decade, and then we go country, Atlantic, that has one characteristic, looking how the Atlantic and topics related to the Atlantic, but goes also now talking a wider view in global level, how can we interact with the European network? The Caribbean is also creating a network. We know that Asia has a lot of movements, and the idea is becoming even exchange more global. Are many networks, and they are not better or worse, they just have one pattern. So the Atlantic will keep moving on with an Atlantic view. And when we want to discuss more broader discussions, we can interact with the global and so on, as our national coordinators that you just start to talk now, you show the amazing work they do at national level with their national characteristics. So that is a little bit of the history of the Our Atlantic Blue Schools. And thanks so much for the opportunity, and we hope to keep growing and growing more and more. Thank you.
Ronaldo, thank you very much for your presentation. It's fantastic to see that the initiative that began with the Escolas Azules, and they grew up, then it became an Atlantic network. and that now it's already implemented and active in 18 countries and alive there, and that it has reached already more than 300,000 students. Really amazing numbers, and I hope that this kind of workshops act as loudspeakers so that more and more schools from primary and secondary levels also apply to the program and also become part of this amazing network. And another of the messages that you said, and that I think that it's also very important to highlight, is that this network respects really the different realities, you know, from the different countries, because there are different political realities, economical ones, social, technological, environmental, legal, and it's really impressive how it's possible to fine-tune and always reach some kind of project that suits into the network, and at the end reaches the students, which is what I think it's the leitmotif of this network, so that the children learn, foster their early vocations maybe, and also become ocean advocates from the new generations. So thank you very much, Ronaldo. And now we will have a round of interventions from people around the Atlantic to share their experiences. So I would like to give the floors in first term to Julieta Molinas from the Cultural Center of Science in Argentina. And I welcome you, Julieta, to take the floor.
Thanks, Tanya. Thank you, Silvia and Ronaldo. So happy to see everyone here and sharing this space together. Okay, so I'm from Argentina. I'm a biologist and a science teacher, and I work in the Centro Cultural de la Ciencia. It's a cultural center of science in Buenos Aires, and I'm part of the Blue Schools program coordination team together with Anna Selzman. Okay, I will give you a really brief overview of our working methods and some of the effects of implementing the program in our country. So as Ronaldo says, we try to respect our school's reality and our country reality. Okay, sorry, this is a little slow. Okay, so what led us to join this program? Okay, this is the map of Argentina. And as you can see, the extent of our territory, we have almost 62% of a maritime part of our territory. So we have a large country with provinces that are really far away from the ocean and have never seen it. On the other hand, we have really low enrollment in professions related to marine sciences, and those professions are really needed in a country. And finally, we know that the subject of the ocean and the marine sciences is hardly represented in the school curricula. So this reality invited us to bring the ocean culture into the classroom. So we joined to the AABSN and started this beautiful program. And our work methodology has phases throughout the school year. So first, each school is encouraged to narrow down their projects to fit into one of 5 big topics that we identified, and I will mention next. And the chosen topic then serves as a guide for the research phase, during which teachers and students work within the Blue community to identify a concrete problem or issue and propose actions or solutions. Okay, so these are the 5 topics that we identified that are for interests for the schools, on which they would develop a meaningful questions for them, or a problem they identify in the school or in their location. But knowing that ocean literacy is practically absent in the curricula, as I mentioned before, and also absent from teachers' training, we decided, to compile useful resources for teachers and students, together with the scientists. Also, we developed a Spanish booklet specific for Argentina. And so at the beginning of their projects, the teachers can have access to these resources together with meetings and coaching for each of the 5 topics. And for this, we use diverse and different dialogue formats with schools to be sure that we support them throughout the project, and also with the scientific community. And as schools progress in their project research, they begin to link up not only with other teachers in other schools who may be developing similar projects, but also with institutions and scientists who can advise them on specific issues. And the final part of these projects, the blue actions, necessarily include that they generate links with different local actors to increase the impact of their projects. Okay, so we have, these are the kind of actions that we have in the schools. The active approach of these projects encourages each school to take action on its community outside the school's walls. So the aim, the principal aim, is to make a positive impact and to encourage citizens to learn more about the sea. So these blue actions could range from conducting surveys and interviews in their community to measure ocean culture, to developing scientific communications, using social networks to spread a message, among others. So I'm showing you here the current impact of the program, which started in 2021. And we have schools involved that, as you can see, are really, really far away from the ocean and have never seen it in person. And we have a really amazing and committed network with over 150 actions carried out so far. And these students are going out of their schools, as I said, and going into their communities, learning and multiplying the impact of their actions. So some results we think that are important to mention are that the interdisciplinary nature of these projects proposed by the program led to the integration of these topics in more than one subject in the school. And this is something that doesn't happen a lot, at least in our schools. And at the same time, this meant that the blue actions carried out were highly innovative, such as artistic interventions in the neighborhoods, or the development of sustainable products resulting from the joint work of teachers of different subjects. And I will just mention 2 examples, but we have much more. So the San Francisco de Asís school, that is situated in the inland city of Moreno, on the banks of one of the most polluted rivers in Argentina, the students organized a series of dialogues open to the community based on the premise that any developments in the river have an impact on the wider community and subsequently in the ocean. So in each session, they invited to speak different actors that are involved in the efforts toward river recovery. And this included a district attorney who discussed environmental justice cases, a biologist who explained how pollution affects the biodiversity of the river basin, and an environmental activist who discussed how to treat or prevent the pollution. And the image shows the announcement of the event in the social media. And we have another kind of action, which was carried out by FAPE and San Patricio schools that are in Puerto Madryn and Gesell. These are coastal schools, and they chose coastal erosion as a key issue affecting their cities. And here the students work with experts and the city government to build barriers made of natural materials to prevent beach erosion. And these barriers are made. They made them from leaves and straw to prevent them from turning into microplastic sources when eroded by the elements. And then the students also put up signs explaining the function of the barriers and calling on locals to preserve them. So this is a really nice citizen project. And finally, this year, we have inspiring effects at the level of our network. Just last week, despite the difficulties we still face in funding travel and organizing face-to-face regional meetings, our teachers have done so spontaneously, moved by the need to share and improve their projects and the work of the whole network. And here we can see in the central photo, Micaela, our young ocean ambassador who actively participates in the network in Argentina, and Lucrecia and Cecilia, two teachers from Puerto Madryn who organize a Blue Schools regional event at Puerto Madryn City. And they welcome Iliana, who is also in the photo, another teacher, and other teachers from regional schools. This was like a huge thing for us. Okay, these are, again, just some of the voices of our teachers to whom we are especially grateful for the efforts they make to innovate their practices, even in the most difficult context. This is Beatriz. I hope you can listen. A teacher that is leading 3 schools in Jujuy, a province that is very, very far away from our coasts. I don't know if we can make the video run. No, I'm not having very good connection. Okay. So, okay, no, my connection is not very good, I'm sorry. So, the challenges we are facing in Argentina, it's, okay, we really would love to implement inside meetings at every region. We haven't been able to do so so far. We need to generate more formal partnerships with the educational system as we are coordinating the program from a state agency of science. So there is no formal support for teachers to devote class time to training and coaching meetings. So we need to generate formal partnerships. And if we want to invite more schools into the program, we have to expand collaboration with regional partners and the scientific community in each of the provinces. This is a really hard thing to do. And okay, so our main problem is also that sadly we don't have any budget assigned for the program, at least this year, and the next year I think we won't. So this means we don't have money for inside regional meetings or for the resources that schools need to carry out their projects. Okay, so you can reach us at this email, especially people from Latin America, Spain. We have resources in Spanish that we can share with you. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Julieta, for sharing with us the global picture of the Blue Schools Network in Argentina. Also for sharing with us the Blue School Project methodology and the phases that follow, and also for sharing the key figures as for example, that already 8,000 students were reached by the program or were involved somehow, and that you have already implemented 150 local activities. But what I find at least more important is that these activities, during these activities implementation, you put the focus on optimizing the positive local socioeconomic impact, which I think at the end of the day, it's really most of the important things. You also share the challenges that you're facing, which I appreciate very much, because I think that we should gather all these challenges to try to find the 2080 of Pareto, no? And try to focus on the more common challenges and try to find some solutions altogether within the All Atlantic Network. So thank you very much, Julieta. And now I would like to give the word to Stephanie Nseke Waniko from Nigeria, from the Nigerian Institute for Oceanography and Marine Research. So please, Stephanie, it's your turn to present. Thank you.
Okay, hello, I'm Stephanie, and I am here to, okay, sorry, just, okay. All right. Once again, good afternoon, if you're from my region, and I am Stephanie. I am here to present the ways of change, Nigerians' journey in cultivating ocean leaders through the All Atlantic Blue School Network. And why are we part of All Atlantic Blue School? Because the initiative is to bring together countries across the Atlantic Ocean to promote ocean literacy and ocean stewards. Ocean literacy is very important in Nigeria because we're a coastal state and we have 853 kilometers of coastal line in the Gulf of Guinea. We have the exclusive economic zone that is approximately about 210 kilometers. We have diverse marine resources and we are a growing blue economy. Why did we decide to begin ocean literacy, or rather why my team decided to do ocean literacy is because we noticed that there are various environmental challenges. And as a young researcher with Nigerian Institute for Oceanography and Marine Research, we had a lot of young people coming to the Institute for excursion. And there was a need to educate the society. And after my ocean governance course with International Ocean Institute, I decided to take up the challenge of catching young people so that we can promote climate and ocean ambassadors, to also teach not just the young people, but the society, the principle of ocean literacy, so that we can create future leaders and ocean marine experts. Oh, yes. All right, so the journey so far, Nigeria joined as the 16th country in, Nigeria started out as an Astros club in 39 schools through the Astra project, which is the All Atlantic Ocean Sustainable and Resilient Aquaculture, an EU project. As at 2022 June, we had reached out to 2,700 students and 30 teachers, and in 3 states. We use the inclusive educational method where we reach out to both public, private, modern, and rural coastal community schools. We joined as the 16th country in the All Atlantic Blue Schools. And Nigeria, though our major languages are English, but we have languages such as Yoruba, Hausa, Igbo, and other languages. And scientists from NEOMA resource people will sometimes have to talk to students or stakeholders in local languages. And we have a team of experts that we with. In terms of methodology, we have adopted the collaborative effort. And I want to say thanks to Astra, NEOMA, IY Nigeria, all the NGOs, the ministries and private individuals that have helped us to achieve our goals so far. We have also developed educational materials as teaching aids when we go to schools and also to educate the society. We've organized symposiums, we've done classroom teaching and projects and competitions. These are some of the activities we've carried out so far. I want to bring an attention to the young man holding education is quality, but he's from a rural community. In fact, to get across to that child, we had to use the vote. We also have been able, what impact have we been able to make? We've also been able to integrate marine science in our lower level column. We've had community impact where schools had to, local community, where fishing community are informed about their relationship with the ocean and how to protect the resources. We've empowered students to think outside without the box, where they're able to tell us their own way of sorry, can you see my screen? Someone just told me they can't see my screen.
Yes, we are seeing it without problem, Stephanie.
Okay, thank you. So we've had competition, and the impact is we have also used a multidisciplinary approach. And I like to drive this so that people see the importance of using a multidisciplinary approach. When I go to educate people, I tell them that I am a development economist, but I speak like a marine scientist. And that's because it's a collaborative effort. And I give this to, though my mentor is a marine biology, but it's been, and all the others in NEOMA, they have all been able to equip me to be able to talk about ocean and educate the society. Of course, like every other country, we've had our challenges. Majorly is limited funding, or rather, I would say no funding. And we have cultural and traditional beliefs, insecurity in some states that we would love to reach out to. And how have we been able to mitigate against this? The support, we've got support from Astra projects up till this September. And then the Nigerian Institute of Oceanography and Marine Research has also supported by releasing their resource people to us to support this dream. Nigeria just created a new ministry that is in support of blue economy, and the Ministry of Education, Ministry of Environment has been giving us their support. The International Ocean Institute Nigerian Center has also been supportive, and we have the enlisted NGOs that have also been quite supportive to this initiative. Looking forward to our vision for the next 1 year, we're looking forward to expand the All Atlantic Blue School Network from right now we have 64 schools. We have reached out to about 5,400 students, but we're looking forward to double that and surpass it by reaching out to 150 schools in the next 1 year. We're also looking forward to develop online platform for ocean literacy resources so that teachers from modern school can educate the students directly, and we can focus on the coastal rural communities. We also are hoping that more educators, governments, and individuals will support this initiative. We also want to increase the number of youth ambassadors. In conclusion, we know that every wave creates some disturbance. Through the All Atlantic Blue School Network, Nigeria is creating a movement that will shape the future of our nation and the ocean. In the voice of a child, we are not just learning about the ocean, but we are becoming its guidance and leaders of tomorrow. In the last World Ocean Day, we had a competition, and I'm going to play what the students, how they think best we can create wealth out of the waste. And this is another one. So on this note, this is where I rest my case on the case of Nigeria. And thank you for your time. I'll stop sharing my screen now.
Thank you very much, Stephanie. A very inspiring presentation. Thank you for sharing the key numbers and the global pictures of the Blue Schools Network in Nigeria. At the beginning of the presentation, the numbers of the Astral project were really amazing. It's also important, and it makes me reflect how you explained that through the collaborative efforts of several institutions, it's how you have been able to implement this network and program in your country, and how the positive impact of the All Atlantic Blue Schools Network has been implemented via the socioeconomic impact in the different regions. Via different initiatives as the Marine CV and so on. Also very interesting, the main challenges which have several things in common with the ones that Julieta previously presented when showcasing the Argentina case. And the mitigation actions were also very helpful. And last but not least, all the lessons learned and the next steps you have or you're planning to move forward. So thank you very much for your presentation. And we move on now with Noirine Burke from Galway, from the National Aquarium of Ireland. And please, Noirine, the floor is yours. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Sylvia. I'm starting on the last slide. That's never good. Give me 2 seconds and I'll get this up and running. So good afternoon, everybody. My name is Noreen. I work at a small aquarium on the west coast of Ireland. I'm delighted to be joining you today. It's amazing. I've been blown away by just the presentations by Julieta and Stephanie, and it's incredible the work they're doing. And this afternoon, I suppose I just want to share a little bit of what happened here in Ireland, and I suppose some of the background as well, just to, what has been happening in Ireland for many years and how hopefully we're going to move this forward into the future as well. So just to put us a little bit like just to see where we are, this is just Ireland. We saw it on Ronaldo's maps earlier and Anna's on the edge of the Atlantic. We're an island nation. We have a large marine territory, which is about 10 times the size or more than 10 times the size of our land mass, more than 220 million acres of land. And while you would think this would make us as a small country very much marine focused, we do tend to look inwards at the land. So even though nobody in Ireland is too far away from the coast, we still tend to be quite land focused and kind of, we wouldn't probably describe ourselves as like a maritime nation at the moment with the general public, but hopefully that will change. So marine education in Ireland has actually been happening for quite a long time. I suppose a little bit like the story and the situation from Portugal. We've had marine education programs running in this country for more than 20 years, and some of them work with children, preschool children from under 5 years of age. Some of them are running from what we would call our primary school education, which is from 5 to 12. And then some programs are working with our secondary school students, which would be roughly 12 to 18. And then we have third level courses as well. So I don't know if you remember, but Anna mentioned a project that was called the Sea Change Project, and there was partners who were here in Ireland who were part of that project. And leading on from that project, a network formed, which was called the Irish Ocean Literacy Network. And I suppose my role as an All-Atlantic volunteer or coordinator in Ireland came from my job that I was doing with the Irish Ocean Literacy Network. I was part of the secretariat in this network. So within the network, there was over 100 members, more than 80 organizations, and many of the network members were involved in formal and informal education already. As I said, some of those dating back about 20 years ago. So we were kind of starting at a slightly different place than some of the programs that were coming into countries that might have had very little marine education to begin with. There was already a lot of existing programs that had funding, that had budgets, that had branding, that had their own materials. And for us, it was actually more a way of trying to see like, how could we work together with other projects, and how could we maybe try and bring, you know, different projects and different organizations together. So the Irish Ocean Literacy Network produced a page on its website under the heading, I think we now call it water education, because there's been a lot of discussions about how here in Ireland our catchments and our freshwater areas are really important as well. So it's not just marine, but it's water education. And we put a lot of our content up on that section of the website. We also, over the years, I suppose, have had a lot of engagement with both those national programs that I spoke about, like the Marine Institute Explorers Education Program that has been running since was first trialled marine education with 10 schools in Ireland back in 2006, and now reaches over 400 primary school classrooms in Ireland every year. All the way up then to like international, like the EU Blue Schools that was mentioned earlier. So trying to find a way within, you know, to knit all these things together was quite hard. We use the IOLN platform to put together forms that schools could use to apply for the program. I was very conscious that like I was doing this as a volunteer, so it was, you know, it was on top of my day job. So like I was trying to get it to work, but I didn't have a lot of time to be able to put into it, to be honest. So we use like online collaboration forms for schools to be able to put in like what they were looking for, what they needed, so that we could match them up with other schools. And then once they'd reached the criteria, then they could apply. We used the standard kind of criteria of involving your local community, exploring an ocean issue, joining an Atlantic challenge. And then I suppose I feel like I was kind of mean, but because there was so many existing programs within Ireland doing this kind of work, I felt that there needed to be something that made the schools that won this award here in Ireland kind of different. So I asked schools to have collaborated with another school around the Atlantic. Now, in hindsight, maybe that was making it too difficult because, you know, that definitely lowered the numbers of schools within here in Ireland. Like if I'd been awarding schools that were all doing amazing marine projects, I probably could have awarded hundreds, but I asked schools to see if they could engage in some way with another Atlantic school. So today I just want to present on two schools that did a wonderful job of doing that. And maybe as I look to this in the future with a group of people, hopefully, within the island of Ireland, we might change that criteria. So we might remove that part of it. But one of the schools, and there's a QR code just up on the screen if anybody is interested in seeing other work that the school did. This was a school called Cromon National School, which is down in the south of Ireland. They linked in with their local community. They ran a marine festival. They got out on their beach learning about their local aquaculture and doing cleanups. And it was wonderful. Like this school also won an Explorers Ocean Champion project for their work. So that was a kind of a collaboration with the existing national group that was here in the country. But then they took it a step further they took part in an All-Atlantic Shark webinar, and they linked in with a school that was in America after that webinar. So that was to tick that All-Atlantic element. Another school that did a fantastic job is the All-Atlantic Blue Schools in Ireland. Or another school that won this award was Scull Katrina Junior, which was in Renmore in Galway. And their students produced a wonderful musical, which was all about caring for the ocean. They took that musical and performed it to a group of pre-service teachers. So student teachers that were just getting ready to go out into the classroom. And then to give it the All-Atlantic element, they connected in with a school in France who then came to visit them, and that was wonderful. So as I said, I feel like I was a bit mean putting in that step that they had to connect with another Atlantic school. But for us, I suppose that's one of the things that worked really well was the online element of if you could bring schools together online and connect. It's difficult. I know not all the schools would have technology maybe, and also time differences between schools can be really challenging. So what worked well, I suppose, having a national contact point, though that was obviously a weak point as well because it was just me at the time. Having online events worked well. Having projects that already, like collaborating with schools that had funding through other projects. So the school in France actually had Erasmus funding. So that's what enabled them to travel to Ireland to meet the Irish school. The Irish school didn't have very much funding, so the French school came to them. And then where we could acknowledge the existence of, you know, national programs that were already there, that schools were already involved in. I suppose just like some of the other coordinators, the lack of funding is obviously going to be a huge barrier because the minute you take away being able to pay someone to do a job, that puts their time in conflict with all their other work straight away. Also, I suppose here in Ireland, because we had so many pre-existing programs up and running, there is a bit of general confusion as to what award am I going for? Am I going for a national award? Am I going for a European award? Am I going for an All-Atlantic award? Will I be going for a global award? And the Irish Ocean Literacy Network has recently formed a working group on education, I'm delighted to say, and we're looking at that issue and how we as a group, so not just me, which would be complete over-dependence on one person, how we as a group can, you know, try and get past these barriers and hopefully grow this program into the future. Thank you very much for your time today.
Thank you very much, Noreen. Thank you really very much. It's really inspiring, and it makes at least me and I assume many of the audience to really understand better this wonderful initiative of the Blue Schools Network by putting specific examples of the work done by the schools. It's really interesting how Ireland has managed to embed somehow this Blue Schools Network or the All Atlantic Blue Schools Network via the Irish Ocean Literacy Network platform. It's also very interesting how you have managed to put this sine qua non or mandatory criteria and the optional or desirable ones in the examples of the School of the South in the south of Ireland with the All Atlantic Shark webinar, how they connected with the US and the Marine Festival and so on. It's really interesting to also have ideas to develop here in Spain, in my case, in the Canary Islands, and I'm pretty sure for all of us. And also the Galway School with the musical, it's indeed a very good idea. And the link with the French school, how they also manage that part. Like very much how you executively summarized the part of what has worked well with the online option, the national contact, the collaboration, the acknowledgement of the national program, and so on. And again, the challenges, let's say that they sound familiar somehow, because Argentina already shared them, and Nigeria, or at least most of them. So I think the path to move forward is clear, and I'm aware, and all of us, that we are aware that the institutions are, and the European Union, and also the South American, well, all the Atlantic countries, Africa and so on, all of us are working really hard to collaborate and to keep on funding projects on that regard, or in which this Blue Schools Network can be embedded somehow, to have co-funding at least. So thank you very, very much, Noreen. And now we move forward to our next a case, which is the South Africa Environmental Observation Network via or through Kogi Govender, who will do her presentation now. So Kogi, please, the floor is yours.
Thank you so much, Sylvia. Greetings to all. And today I'm going to share the South African perspective of All Atlantic Blue Schools. So where did this journey begin and why? So our journey began when we were part of Work Package 6 as part of the All Atlantic Cooperation for Ocean Research and Innovation. And I worked very closely with Anna and Ronaldo that's on this call. So why did we want to do All Atlantic Blue Schools in South Africa? So many of our learners are from inland schools, and although some of them are from coastal schools, they don't necessarily get to enjoy the benefits of the ocean or get to understand the science or the principles of ocean literacy. So therefore, we decided that this would be a great project for us to overcome barriers to ocean access and experience. And then also emotional connections to the ocean. So very often a learner or a student may live close to the ocean, but may not necessarily have the funding or the transport to go and experience this ocean. And through the Blue Schools, we are able to take kids out there, and they're able to do ocean research. They're able to connect through the ocean. So on my right, you'll see a picture of a student there called Aluta Botha. He is from a school in a place called Makhanda in South Africa. And through our Blue Schools program, he was able to undertake a research program, and he did very, very well in our last year's Blue Schools program. And then we encouraged him then to enter this project into the National Science Expo competition called Eskom Expo in South Africa. And through that project, Aluta has got a bursary for his university studies, and he was able to present his Blue Schools project in America during the science fair this year in May. And then on my extreme right, you'll see learners surfing. So part of our Blue Schools program, we also get learners to connect to the ocean, to different kinds of activities, and one of which is surfing. So when we start this program, learners do an ocean literacy diagnostic test that we have taken the global one and we adapted it for South African context. And then we look at, post the program, what has evolved and how is the learner's ocean literacy. Then we look at activities around how do learners connect to the ocean? What is the social cultural services that the ocean provides to them? And then we integrate indigenous and local knowledge into our programs. And you can see on my right there, top right, there's an artwork by one of the learners from our Blue Schools program, where he's showing how he connects to the ocean culturally. And below that, we have a little video created by another organization that shows cultural connections between different South African cultures to the ocean. And we play these at our workshops and discuss ocean connections with our educators that we trained for the Blue Schools program in South Africa. Then we also learners during the program, they develop a scientific project which looks at taking action for the ocean. So yeah, we're also improving scientific literacy, data fluency with all our beneficiaries. Then as part of the portfolio booklet of activities that learners engage in, we look at local case studies and where there is trusted ocean governance. And we also use technology through ocean games, and the games can be accessed freely on our education.ceon.ac.za website. And on a yearly basis, we have All Atlantic Blue Schools Conference. And last week, we had our conference in the Western Cape, where we had the 10 finalist learners presenting to compete. And we also had educators from around the country. So during the yearly conference, the learners present the research projects and they compete with each other. These research projects promote solving problems in the ocean. And these promote learners to think outside of the box. And while they are there, we also take them on a field trip where they do intertidal studies. They go on a boat trip out to sea. They also get to do some surfing. And for many of these learners that come to this conference, they are from inland schools and they would have never gotten the opportunity to connect with the ocean. And through our All Atlantic Blue Schools in South Africa, they are able to have these ocean connections. So now I would like to quickly play a video of a student's perspective on All Atlantic Blue Schools in South Africa.
School was more than just an educational experience, but it was a journey of self-development, empowerment, as well as belonging. In this reflection, I will share my honest thoughts on the challenges, triumphs, and relationships that have shaped me into the person that I am today. So with Blue School, I did two things. There was a portfolio as well as the project. So with the portfolio, I enjoyed the portfolio, especially the word puzzle in the end. It was an amazing experience. And the portfolio helped by giving me an idea of how my project is supposed to be. And then with the project, I loved going to the field, doing the field work, and then going back to the computers in the library and interpreting that data and playing around with the data was just the best. Throughout this project, I've learned many skills, and some of those skills are computer skills. So before I started working with Blue School, Alicia and we had pretty much no experience with computers. So with CSA and Blue School, we now know how to type, we know how to enter data, we know how to play around with data, as well as making graphs and writing our projects and all of that. And then time management. So it was hard at some points where we had to because we had a top schedule and we're working, and as well as critical thinking. So critical thinking, we learned a lot about how to analyze and how to see the problems, which was already spoken about. And then working under pressure. So we had pressure with the exams and we had to study, plus the project, plus the portfolio, but we pushed through. And then the challenges we faced It was also computer access, because we both don't have laptops at home, and then at school we don't have computers, so we had to write up and down to the library just to write up our projects. And also time management, as I said, was also hard for us, and then working under pressure, and then meeting the deadlines. So while doing both the portfolio and the project, it was like a lot of pressure because we didn't have a lot of time. And now I'd like to speak about contributions that SEAM has had towards my project. So I've worked with SEAM throughout my whole project. So SEAM provided a lot of data for my project, which was the rainfall data, historical data, and the lake level data. SEAM provided me with amazing mentors who gave me advice and supported me throughout the project, as well as helping me with transport. Yeah, and without SEAM, I know that I wouldn't have been able to achieve what I have achieved today. And my plans to use the knowledge that I've learned and all the skills I've developed, I plan to present my projects in front of my class and possibly in front of the whole school, because I know that this will motivate my peers to follow their dreams and love science just as I'm doing. And academically, Blue School has helped me a lot because I'm doing grade 9, and next year I'll have to choose subjects. And since I was a little kid, I've always had a passion for nature. I would love running around in the garden, and I remember the first time we visited Lake Sibaya with my family, and we had a lovely picnic, and I saw this like
Okay, so that was some reflections of a learner from the South African Blue Schools perspective. I wish to thank everyone for listening, and if there are any teachers from South Africa on the call, you can email us to join our Blue School network in South Africa. Thank you, everyone.
Thank you very much, Kogi. Thank you for sharing all the insight from the South African perspective. It's really impressive to see how everything began with the Anchor funded project via the World Package 6, which was on ocean literacy, and I remember, and one of its joint pilot actions, and how big and how impressive it has become in South Africa. Thank you also for sharing the global picture and the key numbers that the All Atlantic Blue Schools Network has reached in South Africa, and also for sharing this inspiring video on the students' perspective. Thank you very much, Kogi. And now, to finish this section on the Blue Schools by country, I would like to give the floor to Keiko Takahashi from Mare de Ciencia in Brazil. So I welcome you, Keiko, to take the floor. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Sylvia. My pleasure to be here. And I'm sharing this talk with two special guests, one Blue School teacher and one Blue School student. So I'll try to be very briefly on my presentation here to give them the floor a little bit more to share their experience in the Blue Schools here in Brazil. So can you see my screen? Yeah. So the Blue School here in Brazil, I'm going to share, I'll try to, here. We started with a pilot project in 2020, but then it was all planned to be in presence, but then came the COVID-19 pandemic. So we have to adapt everything to be online. Since the pilot project up to now in 2024, we are now with over 300 Blue Schools across the 5 regions of Brazil. That is a continental size country, and it's engaging over 100,000 students here in Brazil, each one of them developing their own located project. So I'm trying to share here with you guys some of the things that were top-notch, at least from our point of view here in Brazil, to work with the Blue Schools. And one of them was the core coordination of the project, of the program, among the Mare de Ciencia Unifesp, where I'm from, that is a federal university, the Ministry of Science, Technology, and Innovation in Brazil, from the government, and UNESCO. So we established clear and objective essential criteria. There are 3. First of them is work with the ocean theme related topic. The second one is integrate more over 2 disciplines. And the third is to engage the school community with activities and initiatives. So we are available to the teachers and school coordinations by email, phone, or video calls to co-produce the project, to take their issues, their questions, their doubts, and then for them to localize their ocean literacy. So each school has its own project. We don't have like a cookie cutter of a project for a lot of them. So that's why we are always available to welcome their ideas and see how we can help them to construct their own project on ocean literacy. So they have we have also a simple Google form for to subscription. We help them if they have doubts on it, and as soon as possible we evaluate them, and if they reach the 3 essential criteria, they receive a letter of acceptance and a visual kit for the communication. So we always work with and listen to teachers for continuous improvement. This year, 2024, we have a professional with us in our team that has a background in pedagogical background. So this person is helping us to scope all the needs for the next step of Blue Schools in Brazil. Being a Blue School here in Brazil, we share all the opportunities that we receive in education, related to education and ocean literacy. So opportunities, invitation, partnerships, especially that we receive from All Atlantic Blue Schools Network that we integrate, as well as from the Global Blue Schools Network that has been recently launched and established. And the social media is a big thing in Brazil as well. So we have all the cards and texts that are easily to be shared on social medias like WhatsApp as well. Also, we on the website of Maré de Ciência, we have a special place where we share inspirational material and publications authored by us and from our partners as well. So you can filter by categories, locations, themes, and educational year. So it can help teachers to develop their lesson plans and scope their project. We are also engaging local secretariat, local educational secretariat for local governments to engage their whole school system in the Blue School program. So it happened this year as well. From Bacarena, there's a small municipality from north of Brazil, the state of Pará. That was the first municipality to work ocean literacy 100% of their school network. And last year, we had an open call exclusively for Blue Schools that was supported from CNPq, that's the National Council for Scientific and Technological Development from the Brazilian government, to develop science fairs related to the theme Basic Science for Sustainable Development and Ocean Literacy. That was the annual theme from the National Week of Science and Technology from the Ministry of Science, Technology, and Innovation. So we had 142 Blue Schools enrolled, developing their science fairs, located, respecting the regional and cultural, economical, social characteristics. And from them, we selected 15 ocean literacy clubs to develop the ocean literacy clubs in 2024. And each ocean literacy club had 1 teacher and 5 students with scholarships from CNPq. So it has been a great experience for us from the program, and to see how the creativity and the schools are exploring the ocean literacy in their school community. And from that, I'm giving the floor to the teacher, the Blue School teacher, Tamili, to show a little bit about the Blue School project that they are developing since April 22. So the school is called Professor Maria Ivone Miller dos Santos, is in a municipality called Navegantes in the state of Santa Catarina, in the southern region of Brazil. They're with us since April 22 with a project called Ocean Action. So please, Tamili.
Thank you. My name is Tamili, and I'm a teacher and a coordinator of the Ocean Literacy Club in the Blue School, Escola Maria Ivone Miller dos Santos. Keiko said, we started the Blue School program in April 2022, The project focuses on ocean-related actions. The main topics addresses are solid waste and the ocean. Additionally, we started the Ocean Literacy Club in January 2024. There was an article in Navegantes Municipal magazine titled Guardians of Ocean that featured the Ocean Literacy Club. And this too. We conduct beaches cleanups, collecting solid waste, nurdles, and documenting animals we find. We collect the shells and deceased animals to bring back to school for identification. The aid in species identifications, we create an account in iNaturalist. In August, I present a paper in the 20th Latin American Congress of Marine Science, Colacamar 2024, providing an overview of the club's activities, including a discussion of Olympic Blue Schools actions. On the left, there is a school logo, the club logo, and recently we started in the club in the International Science Clubs Network. Passa aqui. For me, the Blue School program is one of the best programs in Brazil. I have already enrolled in others at the national level, but the difference with this one is that we are part of a network, the All Atlantic Blue Schools network. And the people who are coordinating, like Professor Ronaldo, Keiko and Marília from Unifesp here in Brazil, are in active contact with others coordinators and schools. This way, they provide us with interactions with researchers, international projects, national projects, which before getting into the Blue School program, we were unaware of. And bringing all this to the classroom for a public school point of view is incredible. When these opportunities happen, I think we are contributing to the first principle of ocean literacy, that the Earth has a global and very diverse ocean, and that all of us, students and teachers, are all just one, with one big goal, which is to contribute for a better students and people to this ocean, to this marine life, and to our planet.
Hi, I am Nacheli, a student of Escola Municipal Professora Maria Ivone Muller de Santos. I think the Blue School program is an opportunity to students and school community get to know the ocean more deeply, to learn what's in it, its role in the planet, and what we can do to protect it. This is important because when we know more about the ocean, we end up getting more and more interested and wanting it to be healthy and safe from pollution, so that we can admire the animals that live in it, for example, and the ancient ocean as well. The Blue School program made me want to do the best for the ocean.
Thank you.
Thank you, Nacheli. We didn't write that. We didn't write that. That is them. Okay. Thank you so much for participation, Tamily and Nacheli. I appreciate it very much. And thank you for input and for your all dedication to the Blue School program over there. And that's the thing. Thank you so much for the opportunity. Thank you for receiving us.
Thank you very much, Keiko, Tamily, and Natalie. Very interesting and as the rest of the country is very inspiring cases and best practices shared with us. Really amazing numbers. Again, with the start in 2020, already 344 blue schools engaged in the five regions, more than 100K students. Very interesting the methodology that you shared with us regarding the clear criteria. Also very interesting the inspirational material and assets repository, an idea that it's really cross-cutting and shareable and really of great help for students and teachers. And also really interested that CNPq supported this open call, and that one of the ocean literacy clubs had the opportunity to present here their specific case in front of all of us. Really, thank you very much to all of you. We are exactly on time. It's 15:30, so I will need to be, I haven't seen any specific questions in the chat, so I will go for the final remarks. I would like to start thanking everyone for such an insightful and engaging session today. We've had the opportunity to deep dive into the All Atlantic Blue Schools Network, hearing from really a diverse group of experts who share their experiences, successes, and future directions on ocean literacy across the All Atlantic regions. Firstly, I would like to thank Ana Noronha for her informative overview on how the ocean literacy has been embedded in the Galway and Belen statements, and how the Blue Schools Network plays now a pivotal role in the Mission Ocean initiative. It's clear that through these frameworks established by these key agreements, we are laying the foundations, the pillars somehow for stronger cooperation in the field of ocean education. Next, also a big thank to Ronaldo Cristofoletti, who walked us through the journey of the All Atlantic Blue Schools Networks from its starting to the success it has achieved so far, and also where it is headed now. Ronaldo's words reminds us of the growing impact of the All Atlantic Blue Schools are having on ocean literacy, and how essential it is to continue supporting this initiative to reach more schools and students globally. We've also heard inspiring contributions from our round of country interventions, Julieta, Keiko, Noir, Stephanie, Kogi, and of course also Tamilia and Natalie. Thank you very much for your presentations and for representing Argentina, Brazil, Ireland, Nigeria, and South Africa. It's truly exciting to see how ocean literacy initiatives are thriving and evolving across such a diverse range of contexts. On the other hand, the exchange of ideas today has not only highlighted the successes, the challenges, the lessons learned, and best practices, but also all the potential of this Blue Schools Network. By continuing to work together, sharing best practices, and supporting one another, we can further expand the network's reach and create an even greater impact in the education of our future ocean leaders. As we move forward, I encourage all of us to stay connected and continue collaborating to make the ocean literacy movement even stronger. And the future of the Atlantic Ocean and its preservation depends on the education and empowerment of the next generation. And it's clear also that the All Atlantic Blue School Network is at the forefront of this mission. So thank you once again to all our speakers and to each of you for your participation and engagement. Thank you very much to all of you. It has been a pleasure. Thanks. Bye-bye.